We were on the way to Szwechat, towards our destination, Malta, which is a tradition in our school that all the 4th graders go to Malta as a sort of like a final trip. I was really happy because I love flying and Szwechat is my favorite airport, and yeah, I was just ready to go to Malta and was really looking forward to it. So after this we went to the restaurant in Szwechat, where there's a beautiful spot to look at the planes that take off and land, and we even got to see our little Airbus that finally took us to the beautiful island of Malta. We boarded flight KM 513 and we were able to see the sunset above Austria, and I just loved the way the clouds spread out the light from the sun. Our arrival took place in the evening, and unfortunately we couldn't see a lot of Malta except for lights, and this was to change very early in the morning, where we got to see all the beautiful things. So after our late night arrival, we went along the coast of Malta and we headed for the city of Slima. Basically, the goal was to see the sea for the first time. It was beautiful along the shores. We went to a little beach where we could chill out a bit for a minute, and it was very nice. So this is already on the coast of Slima. I really liked the view there. You had a beautiful view towards Europe, and we were almost there at this point, but everyone was already very tired, and we were very relieved when we first came to the actual coast of Slima. There were these little pools where we weren't sure about what they actually were for, but Felix jumped in for 10 euros or something like that, I don't know. And then we just stared at the sea. We were very happy to be here. It was a nice day, it was sunny, and yes. So after our long trip to Slima, we finally got to sit at the actual coast at the very end of this sort of hilly, rocky terrain, and we had a beautiful view. I really enjoyed that. So after this trip, we went to Valletta, which is a beautiful city on the coast of Malta. We got a beautiful view of the Grand Harbour, basically overlooking the entire Grand Harbour. And we went to many historical buildings like this one, and learned about the history of Valletta. This is the new parliament. I took a picture of it because it looked very nice, and I really hope for the Maltese people that it will be used. And then we went to Mashashlok, I hope that's correct. We went to the city. I can't pronounce it correctly, but it's a harbour, a fish's harbour, and there's a little village to it, and then we went to the Blue Grotto, which I think was one of the most amazing trips in the entire sort of holiday here, because it was just huge. The Blue Grotto was huge. The view was just fantastic there. It was just amazing to stand between these rocks and sort of gaze out on the ocean, just because of the size of everything there. The actual Blue Grotto is on this video. It is sort of a grotto to the right side of this rock, and then of course to the scenery. It was I guess one of my favorite views on the entire island of Malta. After this, we went to the medieval town of Mdina, where we saw very narrow streets through really medieval looking houses, like the one to our left at the moment. We saw little birds, and it was a very nice trip. We had a beautiful view there, basically overlooking the entire inhabited, or at least densely inhabited area of Malta, including St. Julian's on the right. After the trip to Mdina, we went to the beach, which had a very nice view on the open sea. Unfortunately, someone had an even better view. On the next day, we went to Gozo by ferry, and after a ride on the ferry, we had a beautiful view at the countryside of Gozo, past the ancient aqueducts, and I very enjoyed this trip. It was very, very nice. We took a little boat ride through the caves at the Blue Window, which you can see here. Although you cannot see this perfectly on the video, the water there was very clear and blue. You could see very deep down, and it just amazed me how tall the rock formations in those caves were. They were very, very ginormous. That really amazed me about this trip. We saw different kinds of stone formations carved into the tall walls, basically by nature. They were not man-made. It was really amazing to see those. Golden Beach was probably one of my favorite places on these islands because it had very smooth sand. The water there was very clear. It was nice to swim, and I was sort of sad when we had to get back onto the ferry and leave all these beautiful places back, sort of marking the end of the Gozo trip. On the next day we went bowling, and I didn't do too well, so I was happy when we were able to go shopping at Bay Street afterwards. We played football on the next day and we lost the game, 14-7. In the evening we went on a treasure hunt. Sadly, our 10 days in Malta have come to an end, and this is just the last glimpse at the sea, which I will never forget.